Hello.
Hello. When you're ready, the stage is yours.
Okay, let's go. I will share my screen. Bam. Tac. Yep. I must revert the screen. Yep. Poo, 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 poo. Yep. Display settings. Swap. Okay, is everyone seeing my screen correctly?
Yeah, it's recorded, so you can start.
Okay, so let's go. So thank you for coming today. So I'm Clement SERAFIN. I will make a quick presentation today about this securization of the M365 administration. So first, I would like to thank the sponsors because, like no sponsors, no conference. So thank you for System Plus, which is sponsoring us today. So like I said, I'm Clement SERAFIN. I'm architect on M365, MVP in M365 as well, and in security. You can find me on LinkedIn. I answer most of all questions. If you want to ask them after the session, you can directly join me on LinkedIn. I will be pleased to answer. So today we will split the session in 4 parts. First, we'll make a little introductions. After, we'll talk about what we call the ramp model from Microsoft. And we will make a focus on how to secure the accounts in the context of the M365 administration securization. And we will finish by a little demo of an attack, which is pretty well to see how we can hack an administrative account. So here is a little report from last year. So sadly, Microsoft CVE, so it's the number of vulnerability which are increasing every year at Microsoft. So you have the severe report, which is online. It's pretty important to follow that because it will signal you what new vulnerability. Like this year, we had one which was the possibility to take over the global admin of M365 tenant. And most of those vulnerability could have been avoided, like 75% of them could have been mitigated by removing admin rights. Why I say that? Because currently we are attributing too many rights to people. And that's what we're going to see, how we can split those permission and how we can do better. So the main goal today, so we'll talk about the privileged administration. So we're going to go on a part which is privileged access. The main goal when you are implementing security is to disrupt the attacker return on investment. You can't be the guy like, okay, I will block everything gonna be fine. No. So when people are attacking, if they want to attack, if they want to pass, the goal is just to increase their cost at a point that it's not worth to do the attack. We are splitting in 3 the security. So when you are at the first level, which is the base, you have the enterprise security. When you're starting to go like with the developers, which are deploying stuff, you will have the specialized security. To end, you will end with the strongest security we'll talk today, which is the privileged security. One point is when you are implementing more and more security, it's become more and more visible. And that's an issue because when you are working, if there are too many visible security, you will lose the productivity. So the main goal today is to talk about how we can implement security for the privileged security, but not impact so much users. Having a context of where, when as I'm an admin, I will work, it don't will be so much impacting. Because you have people which are deploying security just to deploy security. Yeah, I have a 20 characters password. Yeah, and you will not even remember it, changing all days. So yeah, we need to make stuff which are making sense. So Microsoft about that, so just announced the zero trust principles. 4 things we're gonna see today is when you are making zero trust, you must have just enough access. So we talk about admin permissions. The just-enough access is exactly going into that. You have the just-in-time. If you have permission which are permanent, you would have issues because if your account is compromised, the person will have permissions. That's why we are making just-in-time permission. Validate who access what. Yeah, we are not allowing people to access stuff that are not allowed. As well, we have what they call the real-time monitoring. It's to ensure when something is happening, we know in real time what is happening, not 3 days later. So we'll make a focus on the ramp model. Here, it's a basic attack chain from Microsoft. So when you have when you have currently your system, what is going to intent the attacker is 3 methods. The first one will be an exploit, which will be done by the browser or the website. It can execute script locally on your computer when you are connecting to it. The second one will be the classic phishing mail, where you will click it and as well it will run an exploit. And the last one is a brute force or the stolen credentials. So maybe you have lost your password and they will exploit it. At the end, it will all finish by these steps, which is to make some lateral movement and try to compromise the privileged account and compromise your domain. You have the little one, which is maybe exfiltrate the data, but after is just here we are talking privilege today, not exfiltrating data. So we'll try to reduce the lateral movement, avoid having our on-premise domain compromised, and reduce the lateral movement. So Microsoft had designed it. So I told you there is 3 levels of security. Today we will work mainly on the privileged one, which is the one which is requiring the most higher level of security. It's split in 4, so you have to secure 4 stuff. When we are doing security end-to-end. So we are starting from the device to the interface. So for the device, the first thing which is advised is they called it the privileged access workstation. We'll see that in detail after a privileged account, a privileged intermediary, and a privileged interface. They are splitted and dedicated. Will have a privileged workstation which can be used by, as the example on the left, an enterprise account. Only a privileged workstation can be used by a privileged account. Same for the intermediary, same for the interface. So let's talk about the device. So when we are talking about the device, one stuff is we need to secure it. So the privileged access workstation or privileged access device, I advise you to search, if you're searching on the web, search for privileged access device. Why? Because Microsoft redone their naming convention. If you search for privileged access workstation, you will find a legacy documentation. So search for privileged access device. To make the securization of the device, you will find many guides on the internet. One which is a reference about it is the CIS, the Center for Internet Security. They are making guides which are free. So you have 1,300 pages about how to secure a device for administration. And depending the level of license you have, depending after as well the budget you have, they are advising you or you can implement with level 1 or level 2 or BitLocker profile for your computers. One stuff which is pretty classic stuff when we are talking about the privileged access device is first, we are not allowing BIOD. We don't will have our own computer to make the administration. As well, you will have the device, which is so not personal, all the navigation. By default, it's a computer which is making administration. So you need to access administration portals. You don't need to access YouTube. You don't need to access Facebook. So by default, we will make a deny default of all URL. You don't will have navigation on this computer. We'll allow only what we need. If you need to search stuff like documentation to make your administration, you have a second computer. We will remove all the admin rights. Yeah, you don't have the permission. You are not admin as your own computer. And it's really important. Why? Because we don't want you to be like, if the local account is compromised, it can cause issues. So we are removing all admin rights on this computer. As well, we have the app locker to avoid launching every application we don't want. And all applications are installed in a secure manner with MEM. So when we have a device which is kind of secure, okay, we'll talk about how we're gonna make administration. To make administration, we need an intermediary. Why? Because the intermediary is the best way to currently make secure administration. One of the most classic one is the Bastion. So here it's saying Azure Bastion. You might have Walix or third-party Bastion, but the Bastion is really, really important because it's an isolated intermediary, which in this one, when you are inside the Bastion, you can record the session. So when you have a Bastion with recording session, you will have the benefits to know what the admin does. And even, which is better, it's now when you have Azure Bastion, you can extract the recording, pass them into Azure Vision, and Azure Vision, it's an AI which will make a recap and summary of the action which has been done by the administrator. So for 1 or 8 hours which has been done by an administrator, Azure Vision can make you a summary. And can as well detect if anything wrong has been done if you are asking him. As well, we will use PIM. Why? Because we want only just-in-time permission as intermediary. You have some other intermediary, but they are identified by Microsoft as privileged. It's me or George? I think the... Are you here, George? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I just see the record has stopped and I have a message. Sorry. All
No,
good?
the record is auto-recorded, so don't worry.
Okay, all good. Sorry. Okay, so after this, so okay, we were talking about PIM. So you have some third ports which are proposing like VPN, jump servers, etc. When you are implying a third port, you can have sometimes some risk. You need to have what we say a dedicated solution. Currently when you have PIM, which is located on Azure, you will have directly the product from Microsoft, which is directly on the environment. So you don't will have to open, make an enterprise app for a third-party application, which will manage the permissions. So you are reducing the number of bricks, and so you will have less chance to be attacked. Interface. So the interface is basically, I would say, it's the portals. We will make some restriction about the portals. Why I said that? Because currently, yeah, you have some people which can still access the admin Microsoft.com because you didn't restrict the URL to only the people which are allowed. One parameter is currently if you are not blocking it, by default, all your users can access the intra portals and have the permission to read on users. And this stuff, if you don't block it, by default, the people can access it. If they don't have permissions, they can access this portal. So the main goal is to say, no, only the portals can be accessed by those administrators. So I will make a conditional access, and when people are logged in, they can access only the portals I want. So what is the result of all of that? The result of all of that is I will have a privileged access device. I will use, so here you can see some conference normally this morning about global secure access. Global secure access is a just-in-time VPN. So we call that ZTNA now, and it's just a zero trust VPN. So with this zero trust VPN, we are connecting to the Bastion to make the job. When we are inside the Bastion will make us the possibility to use a VM. This VM, virtual machines, will be what we call a red VM. It will have all the ordering. I don't have anyone which can access the red VM except the PAL laptop. And after, when you have activated the permission inside it, you are accessing the interface. So we are making a securization end-to-end. Right now, you have a lot of people which were like, oh, okay, I implemented a Bastion. Oh, I have a VM for my admin. Yeah, but most of the time they didn't secure the initial device. And the issue when you have hackers, they are searching the initial access. So if they have a device which is not secure, you are giving them facility to have the initial access. So we'll make a focus on the account because we didn't talk too much about it, but I would like to dedicate a whole stuff about it because there is a lot of things to be done. When we are talking about account, we have three types of accounts. So basically, the enterprise one is just for basic, I will say, level 1 support. The specialized is for a more higher value assets like the developers, DevOps, which are deploying VMs or stuff like that. And after, you have the strongest one, which is currently your, I will say, global administrators and stuff like that. When we have the accounts, stuff which are important, we are putting in place the real-time monitoring. The real-time monitoring, basically, right now we have 30 days of logs in Entra ID. So when you are searching the history, you have the sign-in logs and you have only 30 days. You have the options to put those logs inside Sentinel. And when they are inside Sentinel, they are stored in Azure, and basically you can keep them as long as you want, as long as you are paying for the storage. So that's one stuff which is pretty important. Always put your logs in Azure Sentinel. For the SOC, people from the SOC will be really happy, like me, because you have Azure Sentinel, which is allowing to make deep search on what happened, even 30 days after. For the authentication methods, right now there is not a lot of authentication methods. Basically, there are three. The first one is Windows Hello. Why? Because Windows Hello is based on the certificate which is installed on the computer. When you have Windows Hello, basically you are good. And only for the admin, it's one of the, like methods which doesn't have a password. Going for passwordless is really important. Why? Because when you are going for passwordless, the people doesn't need to remind their password. The best for password you can't hack is the one the people doesn't know. So my administrator doesn't even know the password. After, you have two methods. One, which is well known for years, is the FIDO key. The FIDO key, basically, you have the little key, like one like this. When you have your little key, you're plugging it in your computer, and the FIDO basic key is asking for a PIN, which is unlocking a certificate. So after, I don't really like the PIN, so that's why I'm using biometric FIDO. And biometric FIDO, the guys just have to put their finger. So it will be, every people are making me the joke, yeah, I will cut the finger and it's all right. No, we are not cutting the finger of people to get the password. So the fingerprint is like one of the best things you can have to unlock a computer. As well, after authenticators, there is a new player in the game. Basically, I don't advise authenticator. Authenticator, I will show you at the end how we can attack it. But now they have a new method, which is passkey, which is linked to Android, installing a certificate on the device, and it's like based on FIDO. So we can't make a man in the middle on it. The privileged access device, we already talked about it. The just-in-time role with access review, we'll see that in detail. All the policy, so all the policies is what you can secure. So basically you have stuff like sign-in frequency. So right now, when you are logging, I'm disconnecting my administrators every 4 hours. So when they are going for lunch, so they're coming in the morning, when they're going for lunch, when they're back from lunch, they need to reconnect. They just put their finger on the key and after it's let's go again. But why? Because we want the token to be reactualized often. The theft token is like stealing a token and reuse it. It's very popular and we don't want that. So as well, we are not keeping persistent session. We are disabling the resiliency by default. So if you are losing internet when you are administrating, we are revoking the token. As well for the management, please do some management like with intra-ID governance. It's important to know what admin have which permissions. I will show you that in detail. You have all the products which are there. One stuff which is important to remind is when you have all the products, you have one central directory, which is intra-ID. Every stuff inside Microsoft is using this central identity. So when you are putting permissions on the different service like Exchange, Intune, Azure, or Defender, you will have permission at every level. You have the permission on the service, which is on the left part, so Exchange, Intune, Global, or Security Administrator, and you have the permission which are located directly in the product. Like in Exchange, you can be recipient manager, in Intune, help desk operator, in Azure, you have the management group, etc., and in Defender, you have the compliance administrator as well. So the main goal is, to go for the right port. On the right port is the just enough access. Because on the left port, you have access to all the service. So for example, we'll take Exchange. Exchange, you have the faculty to have recipient manager. You can scope it by country. So you have France, Belgium, Algeria, and basically I have one administrator for each country. What is my issue today? So if I'm Exchange administrator, I have the scope to manage all countries. But when you have a you want to delegate administration per country, if you are putting the guy in Exchange administrator, that means the guy in France can mess up with another country. And we don't want that. So when I'm talking about the recipient manager for France, I want a group which have this permission, which is recipient manager France. When I have a group which have this just enough access, I will directly assign to him the group. So basically I have group of permission. But after you will tell me, what I'm going to do, because this group, is permanent. It's not just in time. You have now PIM for group, so you can enable PIM for group. And when you have that, you have people which will have just-in-time permission to the group. And the group, you have the permission on Exchange. So by delegation, the guy will have permission on Exchange, but with just enough access. You will put, when you are making PIM, you have the duration of the activation. You can require a ticket. So the guy will have to fill a URL with a ticket to access, to activate this permission. You can require the approval. The approval to require is important. Why? Because you have the validate who access what. Basically, I will have a team of InfoSec approvers. When I ask permission, it's this team of InfoSec which will validate these permissions. After, the permissions need to be reviewed. If you are following the good practice, we are doing that every 3 months approximately. And so basically, I will ask John, and I will tell him, John, did you need your permissions? And John will tell me yes or no. If he don't answer, because you have the people which are not reading their mails, which are not answering, there are specialists for that. If the guy is not answering or saying no, I will remove his permissions. And yeah, basically, the guy does not answer and he can cry for his permission after, and next time he will learn to answer. After, if he's saying me yes, we'll make a review of his permissions over John Doe. What is good with the access review is you can have multiple steps review. So you can have one guy which is reviewing. So I ask the user, and after I will ask IAM to make the review over. So you have a 2 steps access review. And when the 2 people have reviewed it, the guy will keep his right. What is good is with Entra ID governance, when you are making access review, it's really simplified. Sorry, here it's it's the admin access, but yeah, when you are making the review with Entra ID governance, John is receiving a mail. He click on the mail, yes, no, justification. IAM reviewer after will get a mail. John don't need permission, yes, no, justifications. Here is the example for the multi-stage. So I put first stage review, select reviewers, users, and their own access. They have 10 days to review it. Second stage, I select a group, so IAM reviewers as well, 10 days. And after, it will show the result, and here they are doing it monthly. So basically, every month they are reviewing the whole permissions. Here you have the settings, so auto apply result. When you are putting that, it will, so if the boss guy, so IAM reviewer or users have said yes, you are applying the result to keep the permission. After, if your reviewer don't respond, I remove the access. I hate people which are not answering. At the end of the review, I will send notifications because InfoSec, which have the view on all the permission which has been reviewed, and you have after the advisor, which is telling you, yeah, if the people doesn't have sign in for 30 days, you will have a notification which is telling you, these people doesn't have login, so you can maybe remove the permissions. And you can ask those justifications, and you can have some reminders for the guy which have to review their permissions. Here is the format, how it's taking care, how it's doing the job. So you receive the mail on the right, yes, no on the, on the left. You receive the mail on the left, on the right, you just have to say, okay, yes, no, I want to keep my permissions, and you put the reason. One of the stuff we have is the administrative control. You have administrative units which are available in Entra ID. What is the issue is right now on Entra ID, when you have at the source, you need to manage groups, you need to manage permissions. You have pretty the permission on all. And like you have Active Directory, you have organizational units online, you have administrative unit. You can make some administrative units, and if you are even putting permissions on Entra ID to avoid people to, which are at the root, to have control on the people which are inside the administrative unit, you have what we call the restricted management administrative unit. You can restrict it so tenant at the administrator level can't avoid to touch people which are in administrative unit. By that, we are segregating people by country or by business unit, but it's allowing us to avoid people which have too many permission and keep splitting the permission. I was talking about Entra ID governance. Entra ID governance, it's a little product you can buy. You need only the license for your administrator. If you are only using it for admins, you can only have it for admins. When you have Entra ID governance, you can make what we call access package. The access package is a bundle of permissions, a bundle of just a bundle of permissions. And inside an access package, what you can put intra-role, SharePoint sites, applications, and group and teams. So basically, right now, when I put, so we were talking about the group, which is recipient manager for France, I have put the group in eligible inside. So the guy can be eligible for this group. And once they are joining the company and we are creating the admin groups, I can put different group on the access package and they will assign to the people. So I can have an access package, which is, okay, the guy are managing Intune, SharePoint, and as well, they are recipient manager on Exchange for the France and another country. The access package is really allowing you to have a better management of your permissions. In my company, we have like 150, 200 administrators, and I have 12 access package. So in terms of visibility, it's really useful to know who have what. When you are making your access package, you can make the life cycle. The life cycle is how it's going to be managed. So basically, by default, every year I'm making an access review. You can make it every 3 months like you want, but you can have multiple stages as well. And the goal of having the life cycle is just to ensure every 3 months we have an access review and the people will ensure to have the correct permissions. So let's talk about the attack. Okay. So I make a little demonstration on how you can attack those persons which are not taking really care of their permissions. There's 3 tools. I invite you to test in them. You have one tool first, which is called AAD internals. AAD internals, you can find it on the website. You have a website which is existing, and this website, when you go inside, you can make some tests. The first test I like to make is entering a domain. When I'm entering a domain, AAD internals will give me all the domains which are registered on the tenant. Why? Because all domains which are registered on the tenant, it's a public info. You can't hide it. If you are making tomorrow a domain which is superadmin.com because you want to have a dedicated domain for your administrators, nope, no. This one is not hide from anyone. I use AAD internals, I will find it. The most advice I can give you is to use on Microsft.com because this domain is managed by Microsoft, so by default, it can be compromised. As well, you have another one which is called cross-linked. Cross-linked is working with LinkedIn. We are really happy to have a LinkedIn with all experience, all we made, and basically the name of the company I'm working on. When you have cross-linked, you are searching for one company name and it will give you all the list of the LinkedIn for all those people. So when I have the list of the domains, I will put that into cross-linked and I will search all the people from all the company which are working and which are, so basically I can, with cross-linked, just get the employee list, which is on LinkedIn. So with the list of domain and with the employee list, I can test and see some naming shorts to see basically if the people, their email is existing, yes, no, and how we can send their mail to try to phish them. And to phish them, I will use EvilJinx. EvilJinx is a MFA emulator. So basically, it will currently emulate a domain, and when you are logging on it, you are thinking you are on the authentication Microsoft page, but in fact, no, you are in a website which is trying to store your credential and your MFA. So let's see that. Okay. So I took example Paula. So Paula currently, she's efficiency manager at Air Empire. So I made the method which is OSENT because it's faster than just launch the cross-linked. When I'm searching directly, if you are typing that on Google, site linkedin.com /in, and you type the domain, it will find you every people which are linked to that. So basically, I have Paula Lombard, which is dealing strategic initiative at airempire.fr. Okay, I find her. Okay. So right now I have another site which is testing the mail. Why I'm testing the mail? It's because currently when I test the email, I'm forced to do that. When you are making mass mailing, okay, mass mailing basically need to answer the mail address is existing, yes or no. Why? Because if you're sending emails to a mail address which is not existing, you will get banned. But if you are the tester, so here I put just first name dot last name, the domain, and classification deliverable. So that means I can start sending mails to Miss Paula Lombard in her professional directly address. So here it's a classic phishing, but let's go a bit deeper, okay? I find Clement. So sorry, Clement is really convenient because it's my name, but yeah. And Clement is very popular on Instagram. The guy I can find in Instagram because I found it on LinkedIn. I test his email address and I found this directly in Instagram and all the information about this guy. And so what I'm gonna do, and I really like it, is just I will call Paula as Clement. So okay, let's see how is going the conversation. So what you are showing here is just an example or Clement is calling Paula because he got all information about it. And so as Clement, I'm calling. And basically, when I'm calling her, I'm asking her to enter her credentials to click, on the link I just sent her. And basically here, what you're seeing on the top is a fake domain. But with the pressure over the phone, I'm just telling her, yeah, I sent you a link. I'm the guy from the support. Please log in. And as well, I will ask her the MFA. And at the end, what will happen is I will have intercept a token. And basically, with this token, I can make everything I want. But the stuff here is you got just trapped and really badly. Why I said that? Because basically, Clement is called Kevin and not existing at all. This guy doesn't exist. If you are looking at all image, all the Instagram, so basically all the image has been generated by AI. This picture of this guy is not even existing. So I just created a wall guy from the basis. As well, his voice is not existing. The voice you enter, you are just hearing on the video. It's a voice which is totally generated. We are using a tool which is called 11 Labs. With 11 Labs and $5, I can, during the whole month, just with 10 seconds of your voice, I can clone your voice. And basically, we clone his voice. As well, for Paula, yeah, sadly, her voice is cloned as well. So this whole video is just showing you can clone a voice, two voice, and you can just talk to people with clone voice. And it's really easy. So this stuff, it's called an AET against the middle attack. And so basically by taking an Instagram, I can clone a voice and after use it for bad purpose. So I have cloned two voices to make this demo. So you can say this demo is bullshit. Why? Because nothing is real inside. Not the voice, not the scenario. But what happened? So basically, you have a little company which is called Retool. They catch the support guy on Instagram. And when they catch the support guy on Instagram, basically they said, oh, okay, yeah. So I cloned his voice and they called multiple people. They called some VIP on the Retool company and they make them sign a contract of 10 million. So basically, this company lost a lot of money because the voice of someone they knew has been cloned. So when it's happening, what done the attacker is just clone this voice and he tried contacting the user with a phishing email. And when it's done, the guy has been redirected not to a legitimate website. It has been redirected to a bad AETM infrastructure. The credentials are compromised. The MFA token is still, so after the guy can access directly the legitimate website. And that's what we call modern attacks. And I just tell you, take care of that. Currently, people which are too present on Instagram, it can happen. You might have here people which are really important saying bullshit on internet. That's AI, and that's what's come in terms of modern attacks. So thank you for listening me today. And if you have any questions, you can put them on the chat or contacting me directly on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Clement. Very, very useful things. I think we'll have some time left, so if anyone wants to ask some questions, feel free to ask. Let's say if Martin and Nob are here.
Yeah, I think I started a bit early, so.
Yeah. Let's see if someone else is want to ask anything.
Mr. Martin.
If else, thank you very much, and I believe you shared, I think, yeah. Okay, thank you very much, and guys, we're waiting for the next presenter.
Yeah, so you can take a break, and after, for those people which are wishing to see directly and discussing, you have the Collabdays Oslo, which are taking place in December. So pleasure to see you there, and enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of conference.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.